guys, welcome to our reading series, The Dragon Girls Amiza and the Gold Glitter Dragon. So we're going to be reading 2 chapters every day. Let's get into it. And if you have this book, please follow along. Amiza lay on her stomach in her brand new backyard. The weather was warm for fall, but Amiza didn't feel the sun on her skin. She didn't notice a dog barking nearby. She didn't even hear her mom singing as she unpacked boxes in the house. They had just moved into a strange sound that caught Amiza's
attention. The sound blocked out everything else. It was as if someone was whispering the first line of a song. Magic forest, come explore. Through a gap in the back fence, Amiza could see the edge of a forest. Was the music coming from there? Amiza wasn't used to lying around on the grass, admiring trees. She thought to herself as a city girl, well, she used to anyway. She wasn't quite sure who she was in this new place yet. But in the city, she was always on the go, seeing lessons, playing
soccer with her friends, organizing sleepovers, but now there wasn't anyone to organize sleepovers with. Everyone had changed when she and her mom moved. Amiza liked the kids at her new school, but she didn't have any besties yet. In the school, she had been assigned to a table with 2 other girls named Willie and Noma. I don't know if I got that right. Somehow, Amiza just knew that she was meant to be friends with them. She could feel it fizzing like bubbles in a soft drink deep in
her stomach. But she wasn't quite sure how to make it happen. Amiza sighed. She knew that friendships took time, but she hated being the new girl. Magic forest, come explore. Amiza sat up. The singing was clearer now. It was definitely coming from the forest, but it was different from any music Amiza had heard before. The melody was like the songs of 1,000 birds in the babble, of a river, all mixed together with the rustling of leaves.
Amiza jumped up and ran to the back fence. She leaned over to get a closer look. Maybe she was from the city. Because she was from the city. She'd never seen a real forest up close before. She couldn't take her eyes off it. The leaves had turned the colors of fall. These were Amiza's favorites. Brilliant red, fiery orange, and best of all, bright yellow. The forest floor looked like it was covered with treasure. There was one tree that caught Amiza's attention. It was the tallest of all. With long and graceful branches, the tree's leaves shone as they were made of pure gold. Amiza felt a shiver of excitement run up her back.
Suddenly, she knew. Sorry about that. There was something special about that tree, something magical. As she gazed into the forest, Amiza realized there were other curious things about it. I can smell flowers, Amiza muttered to herself, but that doesn't make sense. Most of the flowers are gone now that it's fall. But that wasn't even the strangest thing. Amiza thought she could smell pineapples and mangoes. Amiza didn't know much about the forest, but she was pretty sure pineapples and mangoes didn't grow around here. Now that she was closer, Amiza could hear more singing coming from the forest.
Magic forest, come explore. Magic forest, come, hear my roar. Hear my roar? What could that mean? Amiza repeated the words out loud, softly first. Magic forest, but each time she said them, her voice got louder. One of the golden leaves on the tallest tree spun up into the air. It danced through the sky, swishing this way and that, leaving a glowing trail behind it. Amisa watched as the leaf looped its way closer. When the leaf was above her, she leaped up and grabbed it. It was warm from the sunlight. Amisa's fingertips tingled.
Suddenly, she knew just what to do. Her voice rang out strong and true as she began to sing. Magic forest, forest, come explore. Magic forest, hear my roar. Instantly, a hot gust of wind swirled around her. Amisa closed her eyes as she was whooshed up into the air, spun around, and then dropped down onto the ground again. It took only a few seconds, but Amisa knew something amazing had happened, something life-changing. Dun, 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 dun.
I wonder what's going to happen next. Remember, we're only going to chapter 2. We're going to read chapter 2, then we're going to be done. Amisa opened her eyes to see that she was no longer in her backyard. Instead, she was standing in the middle of the forest. Up close, it was even more beautiful than it had seemed from her yard. Vines twisted around tree trunks, heavy with fruits Amisa had never seen before. Flowers of every possible color.
The ground like a carpet. Birdsong filled the air around her. Amisa noticed a tiny fuzzy pink ball attached to the nearby vine. As she watched, the ball began to grow right before her eyes. Within seconds, a perfect grapefruit had formed. It looked like a peach, but smelled like raspberries. Amisa couldn't resist picking it and taking a bite. To her surprise, it tasted actually like chocolate. What was this place? The tropical smells tickled her nose, and soon Amisa felt a sneeze building up. Amisa opened her mouth, threw back her head, and achoo! She just loved sneezing.
It felt like scratching a troublesome itch. Golden sparks fluttered down and around Amisa. She looked at the glittering mist in the sunrise. Had she done that with her sneeze?
Amisa's heart pounded wildly. Something amazing was going on. But what exactly? Through the trees, Amisa spotted a shimmering lake. Amisa decided to check it out and started to jog toward it. She had always been a fast runner, but today her legs felt stronger and faster than ever before. Soon she was sprinting through the trees at top speed. She reached the lake shore in no time, skidding to a top at the lake's edge. Amisa peered in. What she saw in the water made her gasp. Staring back at her from the watery surface was some kind of magnificent creature. Amisa leaped away from the lake. She
whipped around to face whatever it was that was standing behind her. From left to right, nothing. Maybe the creature was under the water, or maybe she'd imagined the whole thing. Amisa crept back to the lake and looked in once more. There was again! It was covered in golden scales that sent tiny circles of light across the water's surface. 2 elegant golden ears twitched on the top of its head. Around its eyes were swirling patterns. It was a dragon. Hello? Said Akimi. No, we were reading another book. Amisa. Asmisa, I think that's her name, Asmisa, because she wasn't quite sure what to say to the dragon.
She spoke. Amisa saw the dragon's mouth move at the same time. Amisa stared at the dragon, her thoughts whirling. She moved her head, and the dragon's head moved too. She stuck out her tongue, and so did the dragon. Amisa looked down at her feet, except...
What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen?
Is she controlling the dragon?
She didn't have feet anymore. She had big golden paws and powerful golden legs. In surprise, Amisa stepped backwards and promptly fell over. She turned to see what she had tripped on a spotted and enormous golden snake gleaming in the sun. "Ah!" she cried in alarm, scrambling to get away from the snake, but the snake followed her. That was when Amisa, realized it wasn't a snake at all. It was a tail, but she was attached to her. Amisa tried to twitch it. Yes, the tail switched through the air in a satisfying way, leaving a ribbon of glitter that sparked for the moment, then faded away. Okay, guys, so we're going to have to do a part 2 video, so bye.
Wait, we're not done.